how do you go about attracting hotter women in your life? What would you say? And then also he's reading more, he's doing those
Hmm.
things,
Yeah.
you're getting maybe like you talk about getting a relevant haircut. I
Yeah.
mean, there's a lot of things there, but a lot of things to do. But in terms of putting yourself out
Yes.
there, because dating apps are chances are,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
probably not going to work.
So starting from the base level, one of the things you need to understand is like what are attraction triggers with women. Most of the men who are having trouble with women, so men just need attraction in order to have sex. Men do not need context. They don't need comfort. Men don't have a seduction process. They see an attractive woman and they're just ready to go. And this is the same for other species of mammals. It's not just human males. Um, Women, on the other hand, there's a seduction process that goes along with them, or a comfort process that goes along with their attractiveness. What I'll tell you is that most men don't have a problem with the comfort issue. They have a problem with, that's why guys get put in the friend zone, because you're too comfortable. What men have, most men who come to me and most men who you're discussing, and most of these men who are in like the bottom quartile, who are really having no luck with women at all, what they have is an attraction problem. There are attraction triggers, attraction cues that women have towards men. Learn them and then adopt them regardless of how you feel about them. That's the answer, right? So again, I see people criticizing FitX Fearless because he brushes his tongue, right? And then he does this skincare routine and they say he's trying too hard or doing too much. Well, he's doing too much and he's fucking your girlfriend. That's what's going on, because he has adopted things that he knows to be attraction triggers in women. One of the easiest attraction triggers to adopt is one called pre-selection, where women have this perceived, this you have this perceived value to women, them believing that other women find you attractive. And so how do you do that? I like to do it and teach my clients to do it by having photos showing compliance from other women. It doesn't have to show necessarily like sexual attraction. There's no groping that goes on. There's no lascivious behavior, but there's a bunch of girls that are pretty, that are turned in towards you, and they're smiling and they've got their arms around you. That's what's called compliance photo, which can display pre-selection. Pre-selection comes from the concept of mate choice copying in evolutionary psychology. Basically, in a two-gender species, the females see a male that's surrounded by other females, and then they find that male more attractive. We see that with women. It's the boy band effect. Women hear the other females in the audience screaming for the boy band, so they become stimulated for the boy band as well, right? And it's just this it's always funny. It's like an avalanche. It's really like the more you understand pre-selection, the more outstandingly effective it is. So other traction triggers would be physical appearance. Well, most of us, we can't change our hair color and our height. Well, maybe if you need hair plugs, a beard transplant, there's nothing wrong with that. I would highly recommend veneers if anyone is considering getting them. Having a skincare routine where you wash your face and moisturize your face every day. If you're trying to grow a beard, use beard oil. Try to, getting a ball fade on the side and having a beard that's tailored correctly can accentuate your jawline, which makes you look more masculine. There's people who have chew gum, specifically they'll chew sugar-free gum all day to strengthen their jaw muscles to make their jaw look more accentuated. Losing body fat, getting lower than 14% body fat. What does that do? It makes your waist significantly smaller, and it makes your waist smaller than your waist width less than your shoulder width. And what women find most attractive is about 1.65 to 1, a shoulder to waist ratio. So the shoulders are about 65% wider than the waist. And the best way to do that is by losing body fat. Having a V-shaped torso, women also find in higher proportions upper body muscle in men to be way more attractive. For attraction cues for men, one of the fastest ones you can do is upper body muscle. It really is an attraction cue for a lot of women. Now, not too much, but just where you have some proportionality, or maybe I would be slightly above average as far as upper body muscle. You don't want to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but slightly above average, where you look like you can handle yourself. Another attraction triggers like might be a man's ability to fight. I know women are attracted to MMA fighters, comedy, intelligence, social alignments. We've already gone over height and looks.
Yeah.
There's charisma. And there's also access to scarce resources. Like I know some guys who just basically either have a yacht I know one guy who was passing out the wristbands on stage at one of the nightclubs who slept with a ton of women doing that. One guy who just maybe has a yacht rental agency and he just got a spare yacht he can take out every weekend and invites a bunch of girls out. These guys, because they have more access to women, more access to scarce resources, those are things that can be attraction triggers, or rather things that funnel attractive women into your life. And so learning what those are, listen to me one more time, learn what those attraction triggers are. That's what I teach in my program. And adopt those attraction triggers regardless of how you feel about them. Now, if the attraction trigger is something that's immoral, like for instance, lying to women or using cocaine or Molly to get women to sleep with you, I would not adopt those things.
Mm-hmm.
I think those things are overboard because of the morality issue.
Yeah.
But I also am fully aware that, like, I've more than 50 times in my life since, probably, I've been going out for what, 25, 26 years. More than 50 times, I've had a great conversation with a girl and her leave with some other dude because he has cocaine. More than 50 times it's happened. So even though I'm aware that is an attraction trigger, an attraction cue, I'm not going to adopt that one.
And you're a big proponent of men having female friends. And a lot of people will say, listen, I'm not interested in being their friend. I just want to fuck them. You really teach having a team with women on there. And so can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah, this is going to come off as arrogant, but there is absolutely no one in this community or any other community who says that men and women can't be friends or they don't want to have female friends who has the results that me or my clients have. Let me say it one more time. There is no one in this community. We can put up the receipts if you want. There's no one in this community or any other community that says men and women can't be friends who has better results than myself or my clients. Nobody. And the reason why is because they've missed the point. They're correct in that you don't want to get friend zoned by women. They're incorrect in this idea that you can't be friends with women. It's okay to be friends with women. It's bad to be friend zoned by women. How do you become friends with women? Well, the easiest way is to friend zone them. And another way to do it is to say, hey, I'm going to treat you just like I treat my guy friends. So for instance, my best friend in high school, we never had a conversation where I'm like, hey, bro, I like you, but I think we're just better off as friends. Because I knew we weren't trying to fuck each other. We're both heterosexual men, right? And so because of that, our friendship grew organically. I just say do the same thing with women. The other thing I will highly recommend for you guys is to not give women compliments or give women validation based on their physical attractiveness ever. Give it to them because, hey, man, thank you for coming in and supporting my charity event. Or, hey, that's really awesome. I saw that you paid off your house. Congratulations. Or congratulations on getting that new job. Don't like the thirst trap photos where their breasts are out or their butts are out. Make women understand that in order to get your intent and admiration, they have to work for it. They have to work for it. Now, with that being said, when you have relationships like that with lots of women, remember what I talked about, the compliance photos and the pre-selection? It's very easy to do those because you're the guy who goes out to the club. You set up a girlfriend, one of your female friends, her birthday and a dinner comp. So you're going to dinner with 20 girls and then you walk into the fucking nightclub with 12 girls. You get a comp table right on the dance floor and every other girl in the place is like looking, who the fuck is this guy? And I'll tell you, this is, something I learned. It was like the 6th in Congress in Austin. There was this nightclub there, just brand new nightclub. It was like the hottest club in the city. This is in 2000, 2001, somewhere around that area. And I go to the place and I go with like 10 girls that were strippers all in Austin. And I walked in, no intent to try to hook up with any of them. But while I was there, I just remember other girls coming up and just like talking to me and being like, why are these girls talking to me? Like, what's going on? Like they're approaching me, not realizing at the time, because I was so young, I'm 23, 24 years old, that women seeing me with other women made them really interested in what was going on with me. Remember, women don't have imperfect information. We do too as men, but the main information we look for is like, she's hot, right? That's the majority, especially initially, especially for short-term dating. The information we're looking for women, she's hot. We see she's hot. That's the information we need. Is it all the information? No, she could still be crazy. She might have a disease. She might be carrying some baggage or an ex-boyfriend who's a murderer. Right. Like there's some other information, but 85% of the information we can quickly discern. Look at her very quickly, less than 1 second. She's hot. Yes, thumbs up. Right. For women, it's much more difficult for them. It's one, because they're pickier than men. They have to be. They're the ones who gestate the babies for 9 months and have to, and mainly in charge of childcare, especially in the first 3 years up to 18 years. So they have more to invest. So they have to be pickier.
Right.
But on top of them being pickier, they have imperfect information. Am I investing my time and effort into a man who's bad in bed, excessively jealous, insecure, low intellect,
Is he
faking
gonna
his
beat me?
alignments,
Something like
faking
that.
he's
Yeah.
going to beat you, faking
Yeah.
how much money he has. So women, because they have so much, they need more data and they have such imperfect information. One of the ways that they can garner that information quickly is by looking at the choices of other women. So if you're a woman, if you're a man that other women choose, then they're going to skip a lot of those levels and those women are going to choose you. And so that's why mate choice copying is so incredibly powerful when it comes to getting, attraction for women. But there's one that is above all others. And I've always known this, but it was Bilzerian in my interview with him where he expressed it, and I absolutely agree. And it's fame. It's fame. Being famous is probably the biggest attraction trigger there is. Now, with that being said, most of us aren't going to become famous. But what you can do is become like what we talk about in MOA is a local celebrity. You go out on a date and everywhere you go, people recognize you. And occasionally guys will come up and try to take pictures with you or whatever, because you've got a nice podcast or you post some funny memes or you make some really cool TikTok clips or whatever it is. You're that guy who goes up and interviews people and like, hey, what do you do for a living? When all those people with the Lamborghinis and the nice cars, or you make prank videos or something like that. Yeah. You have some level of status. There's a level of fame that existed like in say 1985 where you were like Tom Cruise, or Arnold Schwarzenegger, like you were that level of famous, like 10 out of 10 famous. And then you were in television, movies, films, maybe on billboards, or you're a political figure or an athlete. And that was it. That's how you became famous. Now there's like this lower middle class of fame that you can get from having 100,000 subscribers on Twitch. And that lower level of fame didn't exist, but it's still incredibly effective as an attraction trigger. Right. And so that's what I try to teach guys to do. If you're on the fence, host a podcast. If you're considering it, have a panel show podcast. Absolutely fantastic. Do man on the street interviews, do reaction videos. These are easy ways for men to make content that can go viral very quickly and increase their status on social media. And also become a social media producer, not a social media consumer. People are like, oh, you must spend all day on social media. No, I don't. I try to stay off social media as much as possible, but I try to produce. I make 21 clips a week for YouTube.
You crank them out. You and your team crank out a lot of content. That's amazing. Yeah.